So, family, we're gonna start at the plane thing, the head, the mind plane here. How you guys are both going into this relationship with, well, what is the mentality in which you guys are both approaching this relationship? And typically, I read this side as my clients. I offer this spread on Instant Go, so if you want one, just go to my Instant Go page. It's in the description box below to get there. But this is how I typically read it. I read it as this is you guys, this is the other person. But this is a YouTube video, so feel free to bounce between, or just like pick the side that resonates with you the most. But somebody here, you or the other person here, has got the Five of Wands as the relationship, as the mentality in regards to this relationship. They see this as conflicting. Somebody finds this relationship very conflicting, very if not confrontational, then very turmoil. There's a lot of turmoil regarding this relationship for this person. I do get this feeling, though, that this person is trying to kind of come up with some sort of balance here, but there's a lot of stuff going on up top. They feel like they go into this relationship, they're ready to fight. Now, this how this other person is seeing it is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles it pretty much talks about a balance, give and take, right? Giving of one, letting, not necessarily giving of one, but a balance, a flow, things kind of making sense. I feel like with the Six of Pentacles coming up like this, I do get this feeling that I feel like this person comes into it and feels like they're getting something from this, or they're being taken. Not I don't think taken advantage of. I do feel like there's a bit of. They feel like there's a good reciprocation of the relationship. There's a good balance of give and take, where they go into. They know what they're getting out of it as well as what they're putting in, and I feel like they kind of find this relationship as a good balance. But they have the Seven of Wands as what they present it, and I think they're very protective of the relationship, or protective of themselves. Right, and I feel like in a way, I kind of get the feeling that the Six of Pentacles can also indicate that this person may not feel like this relationship is very balanced and very, forthcoming. I feel like somebody feels like they're kind of taken advantage of in this relationship a little bit because of just how the Four of Pentacles is sitting right there as the challenge. Somebody is not, and then you have the defensive energy right after that. So somebody could be feeling super defensive about how the relationship is going because they feel like they're being either taken advantage of, or they're not receiving enough, or they're not, or whatever. There's some sort of dynamic in the relationship that's a little off right now. And that I can understand that, considering this is someone else over here that's kind of like in their head, really kind of dealing with some sort of internal turmoil here, or they feel like they're preparing for a fight. But this person's very defensive, right? They feel like they give a lot and they're defensive. But this sort of turmoil here has caused this person to kind of feel like, I feel like this person knows that they're independent. They don't necessarily, have to lean on anyone to get to success. They don't have to be very dependent. But the person is very alone and very bored of how things are going. Not in a sense of like, oh my god, I'm bored. This person is boring. More like this person is not engaged in the relationship. That could be. Then now the Knight of Cups can indicate romance. Romantic conversations, things like that. And I feel like the romance is kind of on the up, and as like it's I don't know if it's involved because this person here is got the Nine of Pentacles. This is the single person card. Somebody's either showing to be very single, very eligible, a bachelor. This person could be, displaying themselves as, guarded and in their own gilded cage in a way, in their own kind of interesting way of defense. Because this conflict is here, I think this person maybe is in their comfort zone and they're just chilling in there. Because just by the way this looks, there's a lot of stuff going on up top. There's a lot of conflict going on up top, a lot of turmoil going on up top. This person may be in their comfort zone right now. They may be just like, disconnected from the world, just kind of keeping to themselves. They're not trying to kind of break out of that. And I think this person is in a way defensive too. They're not like, somebody's like, oh, hell no. I gotta protect what's mine. Okay, but where this is all coming from is the Hierophant for this individual, right? As far as this commitment to themselves, this change in routine. It's very interesting. Because this is talking about where everybody was coming from, why everyone is reacting the way that they're reacting. And the Hierophant could be that there has been some changes in the dynamic in the relationship and the dynamic of their own lives. It could indicate that there is it's because of commitment itself that's keeping them from being able to let the guard down. This person may not have their guard up at all in regards, again, regards to the person. They may not feel like this is just kind of like a another interpretation of what I'm seeing. This person doesn't have to feel like this, like they're taken advantage of. But I do kind of get this feeling though that maybe this person does feel like they give too much in the relationship. Therefore, they're not looking to settle down because the Hierophant is the foundation. That's the reason why commitment. Now, this person could still be protective of the commitment itself. I kind of feel like this person's really connected, is protective of the commitment at the same time. Well, it could be totally different messages that I'm getting with this one because the Hierophant coming up like that, it does talk about conformity. And this person may be just not interested in conforming to things. They just want to give, they just want to, get something out of their situation and not necessarily settle down and, sign a contract or, commit themselves all the way through. Like, commit themselves away. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this person just kind of wants to just be and not necessarily be attached at the same time. And I think that's the thing that's bugging him. Because think about it, if this is another fire sign, if this is you, Aries, then this, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to want to commit like that. You're not going to want to do that. Or conform, rather. Conformity is different than commitment. But they're going through some sort of change. And the fact of the matter is this person is going through some turmoil as well. And I feel like it's because, it has a lot to do with what brought you guys together in your challenge, believe it or not. Because this person's foundation, for instance, or where this person's coming from as far as this going, what they've got going on here, why they're reacting the way they are, why they're thinking the way they are. They have the Six of Swords. They're moving forward from something. They're leaving something behind and traveling to something new. They're transitioning. Now, I don't know if they're necessarily doing something in regards to distancing themselves physically. Obviously, this is a spiritual aspect, so this is not really, I would never think of this as a physical move or physical travel, but I do get this feeling though that with the the Six of Swords here, this person is going through a transition. They're letting something go. They're moving on from something. But it's still very difficult, because this is leaving behind something familiar, something that they're used to. And I think that's why they have the turmoil going on up top, because they're discovering something new. They're doing something that is a little foreign here, right? And I feel like that's why they're kind of showing that they're either bored or they're kind of like stuck in a gilded cage. And I feel like they're having they're having a hard time moving on from some place that they know that's safe into something new, right? Because that's the newness, right? Newness here, you have traveling, moving on, and this is the very polar opposite. Yeah, you may be confident, may be independent, and you feel good about where you are, but it doesn't mean that you're cool about moving on. And I think that's just it, moving on. This person's defensive here because they have standards and traditions and regular routines that they got going on, or a certain way, a certain belief system that they're staunch on, right? That's changing. And the Knight of Cups, yeah, it's change. It's mutable. That energy changes a lot, and I feel like this is because of how each person is feeling. It's about what they want. And I feel like in order for each person to get what they want, they have to leave a comfort zone, which is why they are together, right? To face the challenge together, leave behind the comfort zone. Because the challenge is what's holding them back, right? It's the card that it's what holding stuff in, not expressing, not coming out, not opening up. But what brought these two together is this Four of Cups. And I feel like it's because they were tired of feeling the same way about the same stuff. I feel like, this inspiration to move on, to find a new cup, to find a new happiness is what got these two together. But actually taking the action and leaving their comfort zone, that's the hard part. And deception is like this kind of denial period, right? I think everybody's in this little weird phase of denial in the sense of like it's hard for them to leave behind what they know. Because the Hierophant and the Six of Swords, I can kind of read those two as very similar energies because this person, this is leaving behind what they know. This is sticking to the status quo. This is something that everybody knows. This is the guideline, this, you know, the box that you're supposed to be in. And I feel like this person is, I think this person is trying to break out of a certain box, or they're trying to, or they're sticking to a certain box, which in turn is causing a lot of conflict in themselves too. I think this person also sees this relationship as a reciprocal relationship, something that they can definitely get something out of. There's a dynamic in which there's a give and there's a take, and it's good, like something they can definitely get out of the relationship. But the Seven of Wands there, it's like they have the higher ground in the situation. And I feel like they're defensive because of the old way of how things used to be, right? They're just trying to, it's all adjustment, I feel. Everybody's adjusting. But the Four of Pentacles is like that. What's holding you? What are you holding on to that's keeping you from moving on? What are you holding on to that's keeping you from seeing this Ace of Cups here? There's something new out there. There's a big thing that you want to go after, but there's some things that you also have to release and let go of. And I feel like this person here at least recognizes that they have the higher ground, but it's hard for them to kind of do something new because they're still dealing with the old stuff. They're still trying to, you know, fight this. They're still trying to swing at the wands that are not at their level. Let's go and see what the wisdom of the oracle has to say. I really hate it when my voice gets shaky, man. But let's go and see what's got. Oh, fork in the road. It means that means that there's a decision that you have to make, both of you, in regards to what you guys are going to do, what path you're going to take. Are you going to stay with whatever you're used to, remain single, kind of not stay, you know, not commit to anything, just keep being, or are you going to take that leap and commit to a new path? I feel like the decision is yours, of course, because obviously I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do, live your life, and whatever. You have to make the decision based off of how you feel, right? This is all about what do you feel? What do you feel? Now, what do you want to feel? All right? Because it started by, what brought you two together was deciding what you wanted to feel. Because whatever it was that you were feeling here was done. You're emotionally done out of it. You're like apathy. You're like bored, nothing interesting. But then the Ace of Cups came up. You've seen that. Like, you know, I think you shifted your focus from what you are tired of feeling to what you would like to feel. And that is what brought this Ace of Cups on. But now it's about going out and getting that Ace of Cups, grabbing it. But you've created some sort of stable place in this, and some sort of stable energy, something that you feel safe in. And it's like, it's not getting you anywhere. It's not growing. You're not, nobody's growing in this energy. And I feel like you guys are understanding that, and you know that. It's just hard to make the decision to do what you feel requires a great deal of bravery, which is the fork in the road. But the decision is yours, right? What do you guys what do you want to do? What do you want to feel? What direction you want to go into? Do you want to try it out? Do you want to try a different direction? Because honestly, somebody's bored. Somebody's tired of being in the energy that they're in. I think both parties are, and I think it just starts by taking that leap, right? Taking a step in the direction in which that you want.